Yeah, so here we go again. It is Monday morning, just past midnight. Um, I haven't gone to bed yet. I will after this. I just figured I might as well talk to myself. It's going to take a while to go to sleep, anyways. Start the winding down process, pre-roll some cigarettes for tomorrow, etc. I've had a very productive Sunday. Not only did I manage to write up the expose for my thesis, the first and second revision. Third revision is tomorrow's work. Well, today's work, haha. Next waking phase's work. I'm not aiming to sleep polyphasically tonight because I don't got enough time. Just one solid chunk of sleep should do the job. It'll have to. I managed to do the spreadsheet for tomorrow's presentation, which I'd completely forgotten until today. I actually managed to get up before noon. Noon is not the highest of bars, but I managed to meet it, so that's something, Got to be happy with the wins we can get. Take the ones we get and so on. Let me just get a bottle opener out of the glove compartment. There we go. Good old diver knife. Great bottle opener. Tonight's drink of choice is Paulana Spezi, the stuff I bought a crate off. I'm almost through the crate actually, which means I have been living the high life in consumption of this stuff. I've been drinking approximately a couple of bottles a day on average. Then again, it's been bloody hot and I have it in the fridge, so that's something, Time to return my bottle opener to the glove compartment, so back to a Dutch angle, German angle we go. There we go. Cheers. Yeah, I've done that. I've done the Excel. I've done my expose for my thesis. I've managed to figure out where I'll find my supervisor and when, so I can actually meet them in person and have them fill out the crap right away because they'll have time, I believe. Which is a big stone of my heart because I was slightly concerned for their timely response, and that's now no longer a concern, because I know where I can ambush them, and I will. Today's plans is go to my place of former internship in the morning, and then just after noon, there we go. We got that one presentation, business and so on. I managed to do quite a nice spreadsheet for it. It's quite simple. I mean, hell. Apparently I'm really good at it and my peers really worry about touching numbers or so, I don't know. Guess that's what you get. Proper group work. At times I felt like I contributed a little. And then I reconsidered and decided, though I may feel like I contributed a little, it was most certainly just my perception of my own work due to bad self-esteem. So I decided what I contributed was just fine, and that I'd take just fine as compensation for my self-esteem issues. Because at the end of the day, what's the point in worrying, For the past couple of days, I've been smoking cigarettes with activated charcoal filters, which cost as much as tobacco in ciggies, but they do taste significantly better through these things. You don't get as much gunk on your teeth. Smoking kills, by the way. Don't do it. Don't start it. Just yesterday, Sunday, I placed an order for a load more of these activated carbon filters. For the ones I currently have, I paid 16 cents a pop, and I've now bought a couple of hundred more for 13 cents a pop, which is bloody expensive still, or 14 cents maybe even, but considering I'm smoking premium tobacco and I'm trying to reduce my smoking. I might as well enjoy the smoking I do, you know. Today, film club? No, not today, yesterday, Sunday. Sunday's film club went alright, I guess. Was really a bit too stressy for me. I did leave early before shutting the place. So I did not shut the place yesterday. Ugh. Rollovers of days, annoying, you know. I did not shut the place. I did open it up though, and I did open up the bar. And I actually managed to write my entire expose while sitting there with the writers focus group, whom I unlocked for. I'm slightly concerned about a friend. They're really rather depressed and they would not like social interaction, which is why they didn't show up yesterday. Ugh. When I say today, I mean yesterday, unless I'm talking about the future, I guess. I'm sure they'll come around. I've offered to hitch them a ride through town because I believe that's the kind of social interaction they mind the least. And I have fun doing it myself, so, you know, it's win-win. Get to maintain a friendship while driving around, which is one of my favourite pastimes. And it's not aimlessly, because one can tell each other about the sights one has seen and drive to those, you know. It's questionably legal, but as long as one have a site in mind one go to next, even if not on the direct path, it is practically legal enough for me to not worry about it, I guess. Yeah. With driving, going over the speed limit is still painful for me. And I guess I sometimes still do it, as in self-harm. I do it with intent of feeling the pain of going over the speed limit. And the joke is, even when I go over the speed limit, I'm still slower than most of the people. You know, I'll go over, like, accelerate 10 over the speed limit or so, which would be about 17% of the speed limit at the place. And once I've reached 10 over, is like a pretty hard limit. I can't do that beyond that, you know, unless there's a proper reason for me to legally do it. And there's still people who speed past me while I'm accelerating to there. So while I'm just above the speed limit, there's people who accelerate past me and who then shoot off to the horizon, and I just don't get it. I feel some odd kind of satisfaction when I have people like that behind me when the speed limit go lower and I go slower to the speed limit. And those people are stuck behind me. I feel some odd kind of satisfaction. I guess it's just they'll learn to do the speed limit. Then again, it's not my job to educate them. They're all bloody adults, or they're supposed to be adults anyways. But something about it is still satisfying nonetheless. Because these days I've at least reached the point where, with somewhat reasonable speed limits, so assuming they're within 100% of the reasonable speed I deem, I do not feel guilty for obeying them, you know. And I don't mind people sitting behind me. If they are unreasonable, so the realistic reasonable speed is more than 300% of what the speed limit is, then I can't really do them by thing, because at that point the social pressure becomes too much pain for me to care about the pain of going too fast. It's funny how that works. Anyways, later today, once I've done that presentation and once I've been to my former place for internship, I do got a loose appointment, so it will correspond is the agreement without a precise time. It's not on my schedule. With a childhood neighbour friend of mine, good friend. I'd say pre-inflation they would qualify for the term good friend, so highly valued. Who are further in their path in academia than I am, and are further than I'll ever aspire to be fair. And they'll give me some guidance on my expose, on the third revision then. because I've already done 2. They've given me feedback on the first, some of which I'd implemented in the second before they're given it. Funny how that works. So then by tomorrow, now I actually mean tomorrow, morning, I'll be ready and have all the stuff printed out I need for my supervisor to fill out, what they need to see, or what they are entitled to see to fill out the stuff they're filling out. And that's going to work out just fine, I guess. And with that childhood good friend of mine, one thing I took as a high compliment was the aspect of them saying, "Oh, your thesis title sounds as if your prof had given it to you and you didn't like it," which is a compliment to me because, surprise, I don't even have a bachelor's degree. And I came up with the title. Hell, I mean, come on. Isn't many more better compliments you can get. Though at one point in time their father did agree with me in disagreeing to them, and their father have a PhD, and I do value their father's opinion, not just for the PhD aspect and for the more life experience, but just because they have valuable input. And that was very satisfying, to the point where I marked the message and I have it saved to this day, you know. That was in proofreading their bachelor's thesis. Because, surprise, I may not know much on the subject matter or on academia, but I can proofread English, that's for sure. Today with Film Club, not today, yesterday, with Film Club, a peer from uni, together with some of their close relatives, like brother and cousin or so, I'm not sure, showed up at Film Club and they really liked it. They had other obligations, which means they didn't stick around, but they'll most certainly return, which I'm happy for both them and Film Club. I mean, of course, I am interested in keeping Film Club well alive and healthy, but I do disclose my conflict of interests every time I do mention Film Club with people, just because, in my opinion, one should always disclose one's conflict of interests. So I do say I am part of the organising people, so people can form their own opinions on whether they want to attend, even though I am organising or not, you know. Not only did I yesterday manage to do the Excel spreadsheet, my expose for my thesis, the second revision of my expose for thesis, also managed to play some video games, and I managed to have a shower. It's like quite a few things. And the day before yesterday, which I didn't talk to myself on because I was also rather busy, I actually managed to bring out the trash. I believe I didn't talk to myself, I'm not sure. But I actually managed to bring out my trash, at least the waste rubbish, which I am really rather happy with because that bin was starting to get rather full. Oh, and my plastic rubbish, recycling. So, yay, you know. Then again, I'm starting to get to the point where I really am overdue for laundry. I am currently wearing my last pair of clean pants after yesterday's shower. So I've really got to get around to doing my laundry. I mean, the machine do it, but you have to start the machine, you know. And I should really clean my bedding sometime as well. So I've got to do a lot of laundry in the near future. And that's not something I'm looking forward to, just because I'll worry too much about doing it for actually doing it, you know. You know. I have since I noticed I do the like independently of the you know. I know who I got the you know from, but the like you know, I'd done that before, and I have since told that person that I cannot give them credit for both no longer because I now know better. I used the like as a placeholder in language before I knew them, so can't give them credit. what remained now for uni, to my understanding, besides the thesis, so I still got to do post-production for the elective, and I believe then I'm completely wrapped, which is pleasant. Then again, that means I'll have to work to earn a living. I'm seeking employment at my former place of internship. I am in very good standing with them, and because I do a good job, though I aspire for mediocrity, I just can't. I guess I can do a good job at mediocrity. They'd be stupid to not offer me a job. Do sound a bit arrogant, I guess. Nice, I've finally gotten there. And I've been meaning to talk with the owner sometime, which I might end up doing later today, depending on if I get into their proximity and they're present, about my intentions and looking out for a company if the company look out for me, because otherwise, hell, is not uncommon for people these days to spend a couple of years at one job, say, cheerio, someone else offered me more, have a nice day, would you like to match the offer? I am willing to compromise on income for the sake of comfort, but I will still expect something like regular increases in pay beyond just matching inflation, also matching increase of skill set and responsibilities on my end, which that company owner might not be willing to, but I'm figuring they'd have to if they keep their company's interests in mind, so it could be worse. I've been completely out of active cigarettes for 2.5 days now, I guess. I haven't got a single one remaining to my understanding. Maybe one in the flat somewhere. But I don't know where I would have any, so I've been doing exclusive roll-ups for the past couple of days. Yesterday I had 20... When I say yesterday in this case, I do actually mean Sunday. I had a total of 23 smokes, which is more than I anticipated. Then again, these do contain less tobacco because the filter go all the way to here. So it's about 1/7 less tobacco, so only 6/7 of tobacco, I guess. And it's so much more pleasant through these filters. I mean, yeah, the filters cost an arm and a leg, partially because they're manufactured here in this country and they contain two ceramic pieces, which can't be cheap. I mean, even in mass, manufacturing ceramics can't be cheap. You got to have them roll through an oven, I guess that's what you do with volumes like that, because they must sell double-digit thousands a day for between 11 and 16 euro cents a piece to be viable as a company with distribution of at least the entire country. I mean, hell, If I had to guess, I'd say the ceramic on these is stamped and then burnt. But even then, the tools for stamping, I mean, they'd probably do 1,000 or so in one stamping, 10 by 100, fairly reasonable sized plate. Even then, the tools would only last not even a year. It's my understanding of it, at least. So it's one hell of a big business. Then again, I placed a not insignificant order with them and I'm still going to have to transfer the money, which now makes the third out of the past 5 days on which I've not spent insignificant money. Yesterday, that is, Sunday. I also got takeout yet again. Saturday I got a pizza for $14, quattro formaggio, 4 cheese. And yesterday I got myself a durum kebab, which is rolled bread instead of just a piece of flatbread. For $8.50, the price went up another euro at my local joint, so I guess that's the way it is now. But to be fair, for that kind of money, one can cook for oneself for a couple of days, and I don't mind having eaten out every now and then, at least while I can afford it. Still no income at this time because the Office of BAföG still has not come through. Good news is their official stance is I can tell my landlord, which I'm luckily don't got to worry about because I sold something, and I got a loan from my mum. Thank you very much, mum. They said I can tell my landlord who the Office for Student Loans / Grants will come through eventually. They're just delayed, which I think is a funny official stance for them to have in a housing crisis. Because at the end of the day, if we're not with a big company as I am, many private landlords after 2 weeks would say, "Hey, where's the money, man?" And yeah, okay, it's difficult for them to throw you out, but I mean, they can reprimand you in writing. Once they've done that 3 times, they have reason to quit your flat. I mean, come on. Luckily, I got a flat I'll be able to afford for a long, long time. Not at the current money I have, but with minimum income. And the way it is currently, I should make it through July, no problem. So by then, it'll have been half a year since they owe me money. And after half a year, I should really be able to expect them to come through. Otherwise, I'll just grab my DOS bag out the back of the car, rock up at theirs, go inside and sleep there overnight as demonstration to protest. Because hell, I mean, it's an abstract thought, and it probably is more efficient to call the boss of that office, whose number I do have, but it's fun thought experiments, Same as though I do not see a future for myself as such. Thought experiments on what would I do with my future if I decided to become a farmer. Because now, in the end of the day, with grass becoming more and more legal here, this being the first country in Europe to have legalized it, that opens up a lot of opportunities. And the home turf I'm from is optimal growing turf, I guess. That's why it's the wine region of the country. I mean, hell. And if it worked for wine, it should work for grass as well. Just to be clear, I have no intent on pursuing this, but it's a fun thought experiment. On whether or not it would be viable. And speaking of grass, of my 2 plants, the larger one is not in the greatest of shape. The bottom leaves are yellow. I believe it's because I over-fertilised, not by directly applying fertiliser, but by reusing the soil I'd over-fertilised in the past. So I've since repotted it in completely fresh soil, and hoping it'll pull through. If not, good news, I've still got a second plant. Using Royal Queen Seeds OG Kush feminized. So, still better than nothing, I guess. Then again, I am growing the plants because I feel I have to, not because I actually care about the product getting out of them, which is, I guess, a funny way of thinking of it, because everyone growing cannabis would most certainly care for harvesting some plants, some flowers in the end of the day, especially if they start with feminized seeds. I mean, come on. And if not flowers, one would hope to get seeds. I am not hoping to get anything. I'm just doing it out of protest because I now legally can, and I feel I must. Previous session on that just a few weeks back. I have the responsibility to, I believe the title. I'm not sure though. Or I must. I like the pun on yesterday's. No, not yesterday's. Day before yesterday's thumbnail. I believe no, it might have actually been. It might have, yeah, it was day before yesterday, but it was Saturday. Of Ben Busy, haha. I have considered making that another mini-series, but I highly suspect this will be adult continuation mini-series, just because it's, I guess, being busy in a certain kind, adulting. I'll probably call it adults, with the S being a 5, you know. Let me take a thumbnail. There we go. Thank you very much for watching thus far, by the way, if you're still watching. Yeah, I have an odd liking of serialization of naming conventions, I guess. This being session 132 most certainly proves that, because that makes it the 134th session, I believe, because there was 0.0 and 0.1 of 1, and I did start with 0. Then again, there is one that is only available through the playlist at this time, due to it missing most of the audio, because apparently this mic weren't working out. These days I think I got it sorted, so that's something, you know. There we go, let's try another thumbnail. There we go, that should do. I'll have one more smoke and then I'll go upstairs and go to bed. Brush my teeth, go to bed. And I think I'll sleep really good tonight, just because I've got so much burden off of my shoulders for the moment. For the moment being, next week I have to start writing my thesis. Not fun. The odd thing about writing the thesis is I'm not even considering the option of not getting my degree, which is an odd thing, considering it took a load of hassle and effort to make sure I was getting all my credits, all my European Credit System points, ECTS. Don't ask me what the backronyms for, or might be an acronym, wouldn't know actually. It took so much chasing after my director studies, but I've managed, and I believe my writing is academic enough that they can't not give me the batches, assuming I manage to meet the deadline. And I think I care enough about the deadline that I'll actually manage. I mean, I'll have not many excuses. I got a solid 2 months to write it and have it printed and bound. I've already gotten a reference for printing and binding from my as if they were only my human, you know. I discovered them. Tea shop operator, tea dealer. And apparently that's a very short turnover place that do it. I'll probably start with 3 copies, and if they request more, I'll have some more made, you know. Won't have 10 made in the first place, because then I'll sit on 8 and not get rid of them. 1 being for uni, 1 being for my mum. I probably won't care to keep any, and even if I have the digital files, hell, funny how that works. Today, with the space, which happens to be a co-working space we meet in for film club, I did inquire with the head of organisation of the co-working space about membership and what it costs and what the fees are for singular days and so on. And I am legitimately considering, particularly as they have 1 month minimum period, so I can just join for 1 month, joining a co-working space for a bit so I can do my writing quicker. They have these practical phone booths, which is just very small, not even a meter by a meter. They're basically old phone cell size. Soundproof booths, one of which has a light tight door, that you can just sit in and work away at. They are meant for phone calls, admittedly, but they have free, so as long as 2 are available for phone calls, assuming no one schedule the one I'd want beforehand, I think I can be really productive in there. When I say really productive, I mean in the realms of 10 pages a day. Then again, I have to start it, you know. And 10 pages might be a bit optimistic. Unless I don't bother proofreading or researching in those days, in which case 10 pages is realistic. I mean, 10 pages a day is either a day of 10 hours with a page an hour, or 1.25 pages per hour, assuming your regular working day's time, which is really not that unreasonable. The problem is having 10 pages of content to write, because I still highly suspect I won't get beyond 30 pages of total content on the subject matter. Then again, the way I phrased my subject matter, which is, or my header, my title, I think I'll have a lot of creative freedom and on expanding and or not expanding. So I should be able to actually get 40 pages that mean something. The current working title, which will most certainly be the final title, because it's the 3rd revision, I believe, and most certainly will get a subtitle, but never mind that, is Phenomena of Applied Physics as Motif of Video Art. Sound hella snobby, apparently. Sound as if my prof had given it to me, which I'll take as a compliment any day, you know. I mean, I haven't even got a master's, not even a bachelor's, for fuck's sake. And that's something I think I'll manage to do. And I can turn over a film project within less than 3 weeks from pre-production to post-production, which is the criteria for a realistic thesis film, because yes, we get 11 weeks for the film, but for the first 8 weeks we also have to write 40 pages, which seems like a bad joke to me, but well, you know, guess that's how it is. I mean, 8 weeks, what is that? That's 40 days, which means a page a day, working day, that is, including proofreading and research, which means you'll have to average at least 2 pages a day for writing days, or also do weekends. I am wondering how much paper I'm going to use and if I have enough. I only have a couple of hundred pieces of paper left in my flat here. I'm not going to reorder any yet, because when I do, I want 2,500 more pages of printer paper, because that's a carton of 5 packs, each 500 pages, and I hope I won't need that, but even if I do, I can have it shipped and receive it 2 days later. So if I notice with one revision, ooh, paper's running low, I can always order it, and by the time I get the next revision, I'll have paper. That's magical if you think of it. The world we live in, where a bookshop send you paper and you have it less than 2 days later, within 48 hours. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, okay, you can go to a shop down the road which is open during regular working hours on working days and buy a pack of paper of 500 pages, but the 500 pages cost as much as 1,200 if you buy 2,500. So why pay 1/2? Now, why pay 2.5 times the money per page if you don't have to, you know? Then again, I am producing hella scraps with that, because I proofread on paper. I use DIN 16511 annotation, proofreading annotation, which I self-learnt, self-trained. My tea dealer told me about it existing, and since then I've learnt it and been using it. And reading on physical paper just works so much better for me for proofreading, just because you don't have a cursor, you don't have any movement on it, it's just a piece of paper. As part of the expose I've written today, not today, when I say today, I mean yesterday, Sunday, I did also do a bit of pre-research beyond what I've already done, to the point where I now have 4, 5 or 6, I'm not sure, between 4 and 6 proper papers and books I can use on the subject matter. None of which are specifically on my subject matter, but that was highly suspected, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this, because, hell, why not, you know? I don't think it'll be published anyway, it's just a bachelor's thesis, but it's a nice thought. And I don't got to worry about it, you know. It's not a PhD, I don't have to get it published. Probably won't even hand it in anyway for publishing. Other deadlines I got. Not only do I by Friday have to have applied for my thesis, for writing my thesis on phenomena of applied physics as motif of video art, I'll also have to have handed in 20.24 or 20.24, I'm not dictating pronunciation, to the International Film Festival of Cairo, just because they meet my criteria, I meet their criteria, I guess, and they don't charge money. Odds are I won't get taken, but if I do, hell, it's going to be a fun time. Don't know how I'd get to Cairo, because I'll probably have to figure out and unlock commercial flight, which is something I still do not know about. Then again, this is the handing in deadline for very basic, so doesn't mean you are part of the festival. They still have to review all the handed in materials, and then they invite you, potentially, or not, you know. We'll find out, I guess. Funny how that works. Ooh, an Uber driving by at this late hour with people in it. They must have been out partying. Fuck yeah. Hope they had a fun time. It's hella late. It's now 13 to 1 in the AM. And it's time for me to shut the window with these people yelling outside. You'd think in the middle of the night that's not much a problem, but apparently it is. With the car, I'm presumably going to have to actually reset the service meter, because in 400k it'll either go into limp mode or it'll scream at me. If it don't, I won't have to reset it, but if it do, which I deem likely, I've never gone above the service meter before, so I wouldn't know, I'll have to reset it, which kind of go against my nature, because it's not the purpose of service meter. Then again, I got an appointment for the service, and that's something, you know. I'll get my tyres sorted, and filters and oil, and depending on how motivated the garage guy is, I might even get the wiring harness issue resolved, which would make this car fit to pass the next general inspection. Nice. Yeah, this has certainly been an adulting day, I guess, for me. Well, yesterday, that is. Today is another day. It's Monday, and I haven't done jack shit today, so... Well, I sat here and talked to myself. Thank you very much for watching, if you still are. Yeah. I hope you too manage to have productive days. Stay safe. I'll see you around. Cheerio.